All right. As far as missing anything, nothing too major. Main thing was we have a meeting with McCollum Hall this morning at 9:30. We have our marketing meeting today. We could do that via Zoom. I would think to do that after the McCollum Hall meeting, which probably be around 11. So if everybody could clear their schedule to be back at 11, we can go over the marketing and planning for the next quarter for the group. We have the Rotary Club meeting coming up at the end of April on April 27th. So those of us that want a booth during a table at that event, go ahead and let me know. We can get everybody squared away with that. And those were the three announcements I had. Anybody else have any other announcements?
And that's a business expo, right? Business expo on April 27th, $100 for a table.
$100 for a table. All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump into introductions. I'll kick it off. Good day, everyone. Mr. Sunshine here, Clifford T. Mitchell of Crew SWFL Solar. The electricity prices are ridiculous, and they're only getting worse. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your friends by having them run their homes on sunshine. I can make that happen for them. With me, and I'll ask you $1,000 as long as it makes sense for them. Outside of that, I want all of you to go forth and spread some sunshine. All right. And Joe, you want to take it for the next one, and then call out somebody else after you're done.
Okay. Good morning. This is Joe Simmons. I'm president of DC Network, and I'm also the owner of All Around Promotions. A good referral for us, it is coming up to be graduation time. Graduation is always a great time and busy time for us. So if you know anyone that's graduating middle school, high school, even elementary school, or even college, or getting their master's or whatever, send them my way. All Around Promotion, your #1 hotspot for all your promotional needs. Let's go with Wes.
All right, this is Wes, founder of the Kingdom Press newspaper, online and offline. We are here to basically bring awareness to what's affecting us negatively and positively in our community, and to provide resources for us to build and live a better life. I'm still perfecting that speech, y'all.
And finish with Kingdom Press, striking news.
Kingdom Press, striking news about time. I'm driving too. So.
Next.
Ebony's there.
Do I see Miss Ebony?
No, I don't think, is Ebony on?
No, Ebony says she.
No, I don't see her on.
Let's go, Murder.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here. My name is Myrtle October. I am the founder of Threats Rising, Inc. It is a nonprofit 501c3 that is reducing recidivism in the county. We're going to have programs coming down the pipeline. But first point of action is that we are doing incarceration conversations at least once a month. This month is going to be March 30th at 11 o'clock at 3:30. The first is virtual on Suga 95.7 FM. The second one is going to be at the Collaboratory. Conversation will be incarceration on through the Collaboratory. They do it annually once a year, and I'm joining in on that. And I've already got my tabletop stuff. Please online on air, and 4 o'clock at Collaboratory. Thank you. The referral for me is just anybody in business administration.
Perfect. And Miss Myrtle, if you have a flyer, let me know. Send that my way, and I'll get that sent out to the group and members that are on our mail list. Who's going next?
Kai.
You're up, Miss Kai.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kai. At least I go by Kai for short. I am your broker associate in the Southwest Florida area. If you have any real estate needs, I'm here for you, because if you want it, I want it for you. So give me a call for all your real estate needs.
Outstanding. Who's going next, Kai?
I didn't know if we had anybody else. Oh, I think Rondi just came on.
We have Chandoria do the tail end. She's our guest today. But we haven't Brian Franklin with Gulf Coast Beach.
Brian, GCL.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Good morning. This is Brian Franklin with GCL as well as B Frank Solutions. I do many of things, but in this group, I represent the health and Medicare seats. So if you know anyone in need of health care, whether it's Obamacare or private health insurance, all year long, I am available, accessible, and educated, ready to inform you on your potential benefits. Once again, this is Brian with B Frank Solutions, benefits beyond your expectation.
Outstanding. Thank you, Brian. And Brian, I still need to connect with you to talk to you about the people I met over in Tallahassee for arts and culture. Remind me to do that, please. And outside of that, we're going to go to Miss Shandoria, who's our guest. So Shandoria, as a group, what we do is help businesses develop and grow, and we want to connect each other with community involvement. That's what we're focused on. We give an introduction of ourselves and what our ideal referral would be. That way we can go ahead and pass some business dollars amongst our group, and we can all benefit from the work that we do and the contacts we've all made. So if you could go ahead and give an introduction of yourself, what you do, and what the best referral for you would be. We'll see how we can connect. And then at the end of the meeting, we'll give you a breakdown of what membership looks like. So if you want to go ahead and unmute and tell us about yourself, that would be wonderful.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shandoria. I'm a realtor over here in Southwest Florida. And a good referral for me would be any real estate needs in the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm. And what is an email address for you?
Email S, V as in Victor, Daniels, DANIELS, .RE1 @gmail.
All right, at Gmail. And what is a good phone number to reach out to you at?
239-628-7218.
Perfect. So we'll go from there. All right. You can go ahead.
We have one more. We have one more guest too, Cliff.
Oh, okay. Pardon me. Who's our next guest? I just see. I think it's.
Georgia, are you unmuted?
Georgia. Georgia, if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself, tell us about your business and what an ideal referral for you would be. And then we'll go finish up with your contact info. You're very quiet. If you could speak up or
Raise the volume.
Yeah.
I think she probably having some technical
Okay,
stuff.
can you hear me better now?
Yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm deep in the Cape and I'm not around any Wi-Fi, so I'm Georgia and I do non-emergency medical transportation. A good email for me is open arms NEMT 23@gmail.com. And a good telephone number for me is 239-202-7600.
Outstanding. Thank you for joining us, Georgia. And that's all right. So perfect. So we already went over our announcements, and we do in this stage go over our book club, which we're going over the Success Principles by Jack Canfield. We've reached the second half of the book, halfway through it, and the part 2 is called Transform Yourself for Success, and it leads off with Principle 25, and Principle 25 is surround yourself with successful people. All right. When you look at it, that starts off with a quote by Jim Rohn. You are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. All right. Think about that. If you're hanging out with a bunch of people going nowhere, have no growth, have no development, no changes in their life. Every day is virtually the same. Every month is virtually the same. Every year is virtually the same. And they're just biding time until they could possibly retire, but likely not. They're probably working their whole lives. Or are you hanging out with people that are actually advancing in their life, getting promotions, getting further development, growing in their recognition in the community, growing in their status within the community, growing into leadership positions, taking charge, making way, blazing new trails? Think about that. If you were the smartest person in your group, you are probably also not in the right group. If you don't have anybody that you'd like to emulate in the group, you're probably not in the right group. However, if you look around and see that, man, everybody else is making so much more money than me, I've got to step it up. Being around that crowd is what's going to actually pull you up just by the induction of the activity they're doing, because nobody wants to get left behind, particularly by their friends. So if you don't have a group of friends that making you feel like you're falling behind or you're getting left behind, you don't truly have anybody that's motivating you, pushing you, or getting you to develop. It's one of the key things. We have to have self-motivation in anything entrepreneurial that we do. It makes me think of the quote, last hired, first fired. Why is that? From my standpoint, generally the person last hired has the fewest skills. Once all the skills, the positions that need skills are filled, then they look around and see, okay, well, what else can I do? What can I fit in? How can I find somebody just to make sure I've checked a box or that I've completed my team, right? But then under the same respect, that person that's the last one in is generally the first one out. They have the least tenure, they generally have the fewest skills, and it'll make the least impact overall for the business. Make sure that you are in a position to be, what's the word? Oh gosh, it's totally escaping me. It's like irreplaceable, but something like that. We'll just go with irreplaceable. When I was starting off in business, I was getting my company crew just started. I worked at a restaurant. At this restaurant, I actually attempted to leave multiple times, but the management of the group repeatedly asked me, come by, work, please, just be in that group. Why? Number one, when I came to work, I came to work. I didn't come to just hang out, talk about this gossip, this TV show, this, that, or the other. I came in, I put in my work, and I went forward. I always had a positive attitude, and I still always have a positive attitude. No matter what's going on, no matter what troubles in life there are, having a positive attitude makes them just that much better. I was actually on the phone with Alicia the other day, and she'd asked, how's life going? And I said, well, I've had a couple things, but everything's wonderful. And she's like, you know what, that's just crazy how everything's always like that. I'm like, darling, I've learned to be comfortable amongst chaos. And I actually have an organized chaos in my life. I'm always doing something. I'm always with some group, and something's generally falling off the tracks. But there's only situations. There's no true problems. Situations come, they go, problems fester. So just address the situations. So that's my rant on that. Now, the other key that I got when I was listening to that is, what can somebody to do to get away from that group of negative people, or that group of people that aren't going anywhere? Keep in mind, the people that aren't going anywhere, they're not necessarily bad people. They're not somebody to look down on. It's just a matter of, if you want to go somewhere, you're going to have to be around people that also want to go somewhere. And attempting to drag those people along with you is only slowing you down. So where can somebody go to find this group of ambitious, driven entrepreneurs? There's civic
network.
DC Network above all. We are the local thought leaders and going to be more influential the more that we do in the community. I'm actually working on a couple ideas. We'll get to those later. But DC Network, absolutely. DC Network itself is a business organization. We're a networking group at our core, but we're also an influential group just as our mere existence. All right. So joining a networking or industry-related organization, joining a civic organization. I'm a part of the Rotary Club. The Rotary Club is a service organization. They do a lot for giving back to the community. And there's a lot of experience because many of the people are already retired. They've already had success in business. So they have experience that they can go ahead and pass forward to you. And they've also have a large network of contacts that they can expose and introduce you to. So don't necessarily join these just for that aspect. I personally am a part of that group for the giving back. I don't want to get so ahead and not be a part of my community, not to be involved somewhere. That's my main reason for being there. But I do have the side bonus as far as what business contacts and relationships that can be developed from there. Attending a conference in your organization, like for example, realtors. I hear about realtor conferences constantly. There's always new ways to go about it, revisiting old ways to go about it, new techniques, new information, something new to learn. So being a part of these conferences allows you to get that information and also make contacts in those groups. All right, particularly with realtors. I mean, you throw a rock, you hit a realtor, but what ways can you as realtors collaborate? What ways are you as realtors doing it different from the next person? How do you set yourself apart? And that's the key thing with any group, particularly when there's a large number of them. Everybody can be doing it, but you have to do it your way, and that makes you attractive to the people and clients you work with. Riding first class. I mean, this is a good excuse to ride first class when you have the opportunity. The main reason to ride first class is the people that you'll be sitting with give you an opportunity to make connections and conversations with people that are at that first class level. Second to that, first class is a mentality. Do you have the mental vision of yourself as somebody that should be in first class? Part of attaining that mental vision of yourself is being in that group. So you want to be a first class individual? First class individuals ride first class and they meet first class people. So see what you can do to do that. Industry organizations. In particular, there are, I know going back to realty, there's real estate groups and numerous ones that people can join and be a part of. And that way they can stay connected to what's going on in the industry and stay up to date. Now, there was a story that they had in that where a gentleman who was basically from the streets, but he got a job at a what was it called? It was basically a gym where they had a sauna. And at the end of his shift, he would go and hang out in the sauna. And in the sauna, he found that many of the successful people in the area, it was actually at the Jewish Civic Center, that's what it was. So many people in the Jewish Civic Center would sit in the sauna and he would listen to their stories of triumph, their stories of failure, the stories of things going sideways. And he also recognized that it didn't matter if somebody came from money, somebody made money, somebody's just getting by with money, somebody has a happy wife, somebody has an angry wife, some people are divorced, some people are fat, some people are skinny. It's all walks of life. Success can be achieved no matter where you're at. It's just a matter of being persistent and surrounding yourself with people that are going to those places.
And I think also vibrating at a certain frequency, basically displaying the energy that you want to receive. You will attract nothing but that. So you want to basically, raise up your vibration, raise up your frequency, and get on that level. So that way, if you are tuning into success, you will generate that energy, and that'll come to you more easy than being in that third dimension that we live in.
All right, same vibe, same tribe. All right, we can generally energetically feel this. Now, I've learned more about I refer to it as new agey. I don't mean that in a condescending way. It's just different from what I'm familiar with. So I group all that as new agey, but there's a lot of validity in that. There's a lot of validity in how you present yourself and how that presentation aligns with other people that have a similar worldview. And you can generally easily recognize it. People that you tend to feel very comfortable around, same vibe. So I see in terms of tuning forks, they go off vibration. So when you tune one fork, and even the second tuning fork is not vibrating, as soon as it comes close to the first one, it starts vibrating at the same frequency. And they start vibrating together in unison. It's just a matter of being around those people that allow you to match that energy. So great point, Wes. Tremendous.
Thank you.
All right. Another aspect that I talk about in that is drop out of the Isn't it all? Ain't it awful, club? All right. Welcome, Ms. Bryan. You ever notice there's that group of people generally hang around the water cooler or at certain tables, or in the book, he was talking about people in the teacher's lounge, how they had nothing good to say. Only thing they did was complain about the students. They had nothing good in life. When you see those people, run
Walk away.
All right, because they're gonna find a problem with every solution. They're the ones gonna bring in negativity in every positive action you have. They're the ones that as soon as you say something positive that you want to attempt in life, they suck their teeth and give you some shade. All right. So do what you can to make sure you are not a part of that group.
Hey, when you're not around, they're the same people talking shit about you.
That's true.
Hey, you guys ever heard something called I've heard people refer to it online called the echo chamber, and how your Facebook and your Instagram and all those things, the algorithm gets down to a key where it only shows you what you want to see, right? So you're only going to get exposed to your tribe or your energy, right? And what winds up in real life and in social media life, when you have certain group of people around you, all they're going to do is mimic whatever your core energy is. So if you're full of frustration, they're going to put it out there and they're going to send it back to you. It's only going to get bigger and louder and more intense. That's why if you find that your social media feed is full of depressing this and why is this happening, and I'm angry at society and I'm angry at the president, it's typically because you put out that energy and it's the algorithm is trying to put it in the direction to feed you what it thinks you want. On the flip side, if your timeline is full of motivation or entrepreneurial stuff, then obviously you're trying to feed that beast. Well, in real life, it plays out the same way. The more you attract your energy, no matter what you say that you want to attract, you may say, oh, I want to attract positive people, but guaranteed the judge a tree by the fruits that it bears. And you'll see around you, okay, that's you getting your energy back.
All right. That's a tremendous point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've heard it summarized this way. If two people think the exact same way, one of them is redundant. All right. You don't want to be around people that are exactly like you, saying the exact same stuff and just echoing back everything that you're already putting out, particularly if it's negative. And if you find you're the negative person, learn to be quiet. All right. And there was actually a story I heard over the weekend where a man and his wife constantly argue. And the wife went to her psychiatrist and said, doctor, I'm having trouble with my husband. I don't think we're going to make it. It's just too rocky. We're not going to get through it. He's like, you know what? Whenever you and your husband get in an argument, I want you to take a glass of water and fill your mouth with the water, but don't swallow it. And then when things calm down, you can go ahead and continue talking. And she kind of looked at it weird, but she's okay. So about 2-3 weeks pass. She comes back and she sees the doctor. And he asked, well, how'd it go? She said, oh my God, doctor, that was amazing. My husband and I, we're actually communicating more. We're getting our thoughts across. We've done a 180 from that. What was so special about the water that did that? And the doctor looked at her, said, madam, the water, as I told you, it's just ordinary tap water. What made that plan successful is you shutting your mouth.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
All right.
Oh, man.
So the analogy,
Clifford.
I understand that. All right. But my point,
Please don't tell your wife that.
No, man.
the point being, and I just told the story as it was told. You can say it the opposite way too. The point being, many cases, when you get into an argument or a situation starting to spiral, the best thing to do is just be quiet. Or let the other person vent, let them go through that. And then when that frustration has died down, you can go ahead and have that conversation and then you can move forward. But that lowers the tension, lowers the energy.
Hey, Cliff.
It was from a guy that told me that though.
Cliff. Hey, Cliff, can you hear me?
Yes.
Real quick, I know two of the guests this morning, I spoke with them personally about, they wanted to know about like I know you can explain it better than I can about the checklist. Shandoria, she came to our last wind down. She was actually at the last wind down. But I spoke to her and I was speaking to Georgia, both of them about it. Could you get them a better breakdown so they can kind of get a better understanding?
Let me go ahead and just tie up the discussion on the success principles, and we'll write a checklist. So the main thing being, surround yourself with people that are going somewhere, the successful people. There's two kinds of people. They're either going to be anchors in your life or they're going to be motors. Cut the anchors. Like I said, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to cut them completely out of your life, but you need to cut the time you're spending with them and take that time and spend it with people that are going somewhere. All right, that's the number one thing. If you don't have those people in life, find them. This group, we are designed to find all those people that are taking us forward in life. And that's where the checklist definitely comes in. All right, so each week we have a rotating agenda where we're going through different topics. We keep these meetings always beneficial, always energetic, and always something new and different, or a new and different angle on something that we already know. And particularly as new members and growth of this group, it's based off the activity that we have on what we refer to as the checklist. It's a 6-month plan that gets a business ready and in the proper place to where it can be open to accessing capital. Most businesses have trouble with capital because they haven't done their proper paperwork. As businesses grow, as businesses want to develop a marketing plan and a plan of action, that's generally going to take funds. And a new business doesn't always have proper amounts of capital to springboard themselves forward. So what can they do to get capital? They can be inviting to lenders, credit card companies, and other businesses to work with. Many cases, it's all a matter of making sure that a business is checking the boxes that they need to be inviting to banks and to credit cards, so that way they extend them that line of credit that they have. Before even doing that though, a business has to make sure that it's cash flowing. If there is no income, there is no point in getting any sorts of capital, access to capital, because if you don't have anything coming in to pay that back, you're going to end up putting yourself in a worse position than you started. So first, the checklist starts with getting a business just solidified and foundational. Make sure they've got their paperwork done. They have stuff like their DUNS number. They've registered with they've registered their company as an LLC. They've done the behind the scenes things to make sure their business is recognized on the industrial stage throughout the state. Then moving into aspects like social media, making sure that they have a presence online that can be found, and identifying their brand. Because if somebody isn't able to identify and encapsulate themselves, there's no way they can actually make themselves available to their ideal clients. And then also recognizing an ideal client. When somebody says, oh, everybody needs a house, so therefore everybody needs a realtor. When you're going after everybody, you end up with nobody. When you focus on a particular niche, you'll find that you can build a foundation you can develop there. Like Kai, for instance, she's a newer member. We started going through the checklist, and we've identified with her. You want to go through your ideal and your niche within the real estate market?
Yeah, we went over that. I specialize in foreclosures. I think the biggest thing for me is why I don't have certain things on the checklist is because eventually the whole goal is to open up my own brokerage. But in the meantime, you know, especially while the market is changing and stuff, I'm still with my broker. But I've taken what I need right now. I have my broker's license. I just, you know, need to move forward towards, getting the other stuff once I open up.
And the key thing is that brokerage allows you to have a cash flow and an income coming in, so you can take advantage of, you know, financing opportunities once they arise. That way she has a solid foundation. She's identified the exact market that she wants to work in, so she knows where to target her advertising, where to target her marketing. And that's part of what we go over through each month. So each month has particular activities that should be accomplished. That way everybody can identify their goal, identify their vision, and move forward with it. So that's the breakdown of the checklist. That's the core foundation that we have for new members and how we make sure we're on a growth path. I know for myself, I really accessed that capital after the hurricane because I do solar power. So solar panels go on people's rooftops. 3/4 of the rooftops in Southwest Florida, well, actually in Cape Coral specifically, but largely Southwest Florida, need to get replaced, repaired, or have something dealt with. And the insurance companies aren't exactly quick to move. So I went to my bank. They gave me 2 credit cards, 0% interest for $30,000 to float me for the next 6 months. So things have opened up again. I've got great plans. It's given me an opportunity to work with many of the individuals in this group to expand and develop. But I have a steady stream of income. I have a steady stream of capabilities. Wes, was there something you wanted to add to that? I saw you unmuted.
Oh, no, I'm listening.
Okay, perfect. So that's the key foundation of it. So one thing we work on in this group is growth and memberships. That's what we're focused on for this week. And with that, we have, what are we doing to reach out to people like yourself, Shondoria and Georgia? We're taking the time to make sure we're inviting other businesses, other members, other Black professionals, so that way we can actually get that growth and development. And actually, it was something I was talking to somebody over the weekend about. We are a Black business group. However, there's a bit of a stigma to be a Black business group. People don't have any problem with the Hispanic chamber, the Hispanic group, the Latino this or whatnot. But as soon as you mention Black, all of a sudden people get all tight. All right? Right. Get different about that. So I want to be, well, not, I said we.
Black has a negative connotation. I think even the word Black doesn't really mean Black in actuality. So we just need to maybe even rebrand that. I mean, not to walk away from it, but
right.
The word Black does not belong to us. I mean, we have adopted it. We have made it ours, but we don't have to.
What you mean? So something like urban or something like that?
Well, even urban, it sounds like more close to the word Black. I think we could be creative and create something where it's like, we're in a world where we don't want to just do things for Black people. We want to do things for our community, and our community is filled with not just Black people, but filled with like-minded individuals that's vibrating at a certain frequency. And as long as we can attract those people that's doing that, I think we can broaden our horizon. I think we need to think about that a little bit more. And I think naturally, because most of us on this, if not all of us on this network is Black, we're gonna attract Black regardless. You know what I mean? So we think that's a given. That's what's gonna happen. So we don't have to be fixated on trying to get Black people to be a part of it, because that's gonna naturally happen. We should just be open to the way we brand this network.
All right. Perfect. And Myrtle, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I was thinking that too, because I felt uncomfortable with both sides of that, because I was like, well, yeah, Hispanics, everybody gets to say, but you don't really hear white people saying white professional group. And then I was thinking, okay, I get it, it's based on ethnicity. Sometimes that changes it. So I was on both ends, like, I guess either one to me don't matter, but I realized I don't like minority. I wouldn't want to use that. Someone had given the suggestion minority, and I thought, hell no, we are not minorities. And I think that has come full circle where we realize we will not be saying that again. I do like the term BIPOC, Black and indigenous and something people of color, something like that, or people of color. I like, but I think I understand where you're coming from. It does. It's just like feels like we can't do, like every time we try to step out and say something, so we're all feeling it. But I think there's two sides to it. But I do agree with both you and Wes. That
like that, Myrtle, BIPOC or people of global community. This is something that's up there now, and that's something that we can ride the wave with. I think more people can gravitate to it, because I think the world's changing. We may not see it, but the world is changing. where black people are phenomenal people, and people are starting to realize that, and people want the opportunity to connect with us. So if we're just plain old black, they may not believe that they may be welcome to be a part of that group. So we should definitely really rebranding that black title.
So more of a BIPOC would be a
Be
better way.
smooth about it.
Smooth about it. What were you gonna say, Brian?
So I was gonna say that so to kind of reiterate what I think I got from everyone is that, you know, DC Networks is a culture. If we were to say black or BIPOC, it's more not in complexion, but more in culture. We're culturally
Yes.
different, set up differently than some of our peers or other groups in the area. You can tell by the way we talk to each other in our meetings and what we can relate to. Whereas in some cases, when we go to other meetings, we may have to put on certain hats or be a certain way to assimilate in their communities, which we do very well. Within DC Networks, we're a safe place to be us and have a different swag in the way that we speak and the way that we dress and our names and all of that, just who we are, you know, so we can laugh and call each other aunties and stuff like that. I'm not going to go to one of my other group and call somebody an auntie if they're not really my aunt. You know, they're not going to get the reference, right? But more importantly, what DC Network does is that we transfer business and wealth and information amongst each other, and then we help small businesses and you know, Cliff and Bolo and Emmy and Joe, they help us move along certain boxes as small businesses, because a lot of us who start businesses and have the energy to do so stop at certain steps in the community. And it's beautiful, and it's to be applauded that you start your business, that you get a logo, or you made a Facebook page, or even an EIN. And all of these things are wonderful and to be applauded, but you need other people around you who you don't have to necessarily be ashamed to say, hey, you know, I may have been in business for X amount of years, but I never really started business credit before. Could you teach me how, you know, or could you be part of the process to get me set up for that? Or how to get connected with government contracting, or how to advertise in newspapers appropriately, and the difference between marketing and public relations and things of that nature. So what DC Work is doing and will continue to do is to have an environment where culturally Black people can grow and be comfortable in their growth, no matter what stage they come in. So you can come in as a established business, but still have some things to work on, or you can come in as a new business and have things to work on. But as long as your intention is to grow and to grow the community as well. So you have all of that Venn diagrammed or overlapped with the concept of, okay, as I do for myself, I do for others, meaning, okay, we're doing things for the community, whether it's volunteer work, the wind downs, or anything else to help the Dunbar community.
All right. So yeah, I completely see how everything's there, and I like the word Black just because it's more recognized. Mm-hmm. Although I don't feel that it's the most uplifting. I can completely agree with what you're saying on that.
Most people get it though.
But most people get it. Yeah, right. And that's why I was saying on that. But we could switch it up to BIPOC. Is that the general consensus?
I don't think most people. I don't think as many people that know that.
Recognize what that means?
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
Right. Black, Indigenous, people of color.
Okay.
All right, that's what BIPOC means. And actually, I only know that because my sister was going for her doctorate and used that term inside that. I mean, I had heard it, but hadn't really gotten into it. But cultural networking. I mean, we had started off the group as a cultural networking group. Would cultural be more fitting?
Network. So another term they use is African dysphoria. And so, because the indigenous includes like Native Americans, mm-hmm. and there's a whole conversation on that. Mm-hmm. But African dysphoria just basically means anyone that looks like you and I from spread out. So whether you were, African dysphoria would mean that a person from Nigeria, born in Nigeria, but that moved to America, they're included. Jamaican American, Haitian American, or someone who's 4 generations deep in the South and their great-great-grandparents were slaves. All of them will are considered African dysphoria. You know, if you were an indentured slave in Canada, you know, whatever the case is, you're all part of African dysphoria. But again, these are terms that might, you know,
Might go over the head of some
until you educate these new terms that didn't exist 10 years ago. Black just works.
Right.
Or you say cultural, it is implied. As Cliff stated, what's implied doesn't necessarily have to be beat over the head. So if you walk into the room and everybody's, you know, listening to Marvin Gaye and you know what I mean, worry about that vibe, then you just kind of know.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't kick a person out if someone walks in and they happen to be, you know, 5 shades lighter. You know, you wouldn't go, oh, well, you're Irish, so we're not going to allow you in here.
Right.
Well, hey, let's play it out.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, we definitely don't want to ostracize any one person, particularly just for a race, because that's doing what was done to us, and that doesn't actually do that. But we do want to help us grow and develop, because at the core of it, enough interaction in our. Was somebody about to say something? All right. At the heart of it, though, it's got to be done in a way that we get new members, new growth. All right. That's the key about that. So I think BIPOC might be too early to get into that. We can teach people about that word, but I think cultural is sufficient then.
Yeah.
Cultural encompasses enough. So I'll finish up that discussion. We'll switch up to cultural networking. So
I love it. Hand snap.
and I will be like touching up on some of what Brian said. I'm one of those business owners that's been around for a minute, and it was kind of embarrassing a little bit to like not know a lot of the stuff that I was finding out about. That's right in our face, and we don't know. And you know, we got to share it with each other. That's really like the main thing. So you know, I forget what you just said, Brian, but I kind of love what you said. You were saying that I guess as you be blessed, you bless others, or something along that nature. But yeah, like I've been in, I'll be 44 this year. I opened my first storefront at like 24, 25, and like I'm just not really learning this stuff in my 40s. You get what I'm saying? So like I pretty much have always had a business and just not learning this stuff. So I mean, if you're a new business owner, this definitely I feel like you're ahead of the curve, because you're coming into the game like basically learning how to boss up quick. You know what I'm saying? How to use, you know, credit and this, that, and the third quick. You know, I was fortunate enough to start out of my pockets and it was successful. But a lot of people start out of their pockets and that's where it ends. You get what I'm saying? So like I see it every year. Like tax time, a lot of people come in and they take their tax money and they try to start businesses, this, that, and the third. And by the time school is out, the summer is out, they out of business, you know. And this is one of the main reasons, because they don't have knowledge of like, why you using your money to begin with. Like use that line of credit, keep your money over here, you know what I'm saying? And like just have people around you to point you in the right direction. Because it's a lot of times I'll be ready to bump my head, but if it's not for Cliff, if it's not for Wes, if these guys ain't pointing me in the right direction, you know, Brian, them, like if they're not pointing me in the right direction, even Miss Alicia, you know, these people ain't pointing me in the right direction. I'm down the wrong path. So like, it's a beautiful thing to have people like now, like once you get a part of this, you really have people at speed dial that you can just call them, hey, and ask them, you know what I'm saying? If it's a realtor question, we got realtors right here, you know what I'm saying, that can answer these questions and like, you know, get you right, you know, just with anything. And I think that's super dope. And sometimes we all have resources, even outside of this group. We may have resources in our personal life with people that we know, friends, family, and sometimes we don't be using it. It be right there in our face and like, we don't use it. So, you know, this just hopefully a big resource to everybody.
Perfect. And Kai, you had your hand up. Something you want to say?
No, I'm sorry if I put my hand up.
Oh no,
I was probably stretching.
It'll recognize the palm of your hand, so it'll throw that hand up there even when you're not.
I think Myrtle has her hand up.
I keep changing my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna say something, but no, I don't. I'm good. I appreciate the group. I really appreciate the group. Hello? Sorry.
I said, say what's on your mind. It's a safe space.
I've been ready to go back to the work world, honestly.
Right.
I'm not trying to be negative, but I think it's just that I miss team work. I miss being a part of a team. I'm building one, but everybody that I'm in a team with doesn't live here. Like the people I meet with, they're all on Zoom and stuff, which it would be the same in the case anyway. But sometimes I just like, I want to do it, but sometimes I give up in my head, but I don't, I still get out there again like I am today. What do you guys do to kind of keep yourself motivated and fresh? Because, you know, most of this journey can be lonely sometimes, but what do you do to kind of keep yourself going?
Call Cliff. Hey, Cliff is the most motivated dude I think I know, man. Like, he's not lying about he's every day. Like, he's always turned. Like, like for real. He's always trying. I think it's real helpful to keep them kind of people around you. That people that's gonna jumpstart you. They like your jumper cables, you know. So like, I think that's the I think that's the number one part is just keeping people that's and that they're like driven also. Like they're not just telling you to like, hey man, you got to do this, you got to do that, but then they ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? They're doing it, and you kind of feel like, well, dang, they right. I gotta kind of try to keep up with them, you know, type deal. So like, I don't know. That's just my take on it.
Right. Well, my secret to that is you have to have your why, and knowing why you're doing it, why you're going through that loneliness, that isolation, and recognizing that you're, as an employee, you won't get there. You just won't. It's just one of those things. The employee position is not designed to take you ahead. When you're working in somebody's
But
business,
you could do both, right?
huh?
Couldn't you do both? Like be an employee and also be an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. Like I said, when I was working in the restaurant, I was an employee. And I was an employee so I can get capital that I could get my entrepreneurship up and running. All right. So that's the base and the foundation. Once I got my business to the point that it can cash flow itself, I stopped being an employee. Because the biggest thing, it comes down to time. Employees, they're taking your time, while an entrepreneur is focusing on leverage. So when you get leverage, it makes money, more money in that same amount of time. And that's what a business ownership does. And we're here to build capital in an hourly position, but we have to take that capital, store it, and then put it into our why, because that's what's going to get us to take the vacations, to see the world, to have the best opportunity for our children, to have the big house. As an employee, basically it's a slave life. It gives you enough money for food and to keep a roof over your head. It's just a matter of employees that get more, that get paid more, just get a bigger roof, but they're not truly getting ahead. When you look at the financial industry, they teach you how to grow money slowly. So that way when you're 65 and you've got no energy and you need naps, you can go ahead and travel the world. That doesn't make sense. Whereas entrepreneurs actually can springboard themselves to actually get the money to live the life now rather than waiting 20, 30, 40 to get it. Now, it doesn't happen overnight, but it'll happen eventually as long as you're with it. One of the key things that helps me maintain that why is sitting down with one of the friends of our group, Rashad Shelton. He was actually at the wind down, and he's the one that, Rashad, he'll take it over, all right? Rashad will get your mind focused, all right? I have a wonderful attitude, but he's got laser-like focus. And his knowing your seed, knowing your why has been tremendous to springboard my focus, my energy, my determination. So we can get you connected with Rashad, sit down with him, and I mean, he'll get you ready to attack life.
And by the way, entrepreneurship, no matter how many network you're a part of, is a lonely road anyway. You know, you mentioned it's lonely, whatever, but if you're going to be an entrepreneur, you're definitely going to have a lot of time on your hand, thinking, reflecting, figuring things out. And of course, you want to get with other people that, you know, that have more information than you do. But ultimately, it's a lonely road. So get that in your head that it's not a bad thing. It's something that you have to strategize as the captain of your ship. You have to move the ship accordingly. You have to bring certain people on board to help navigate into the wave of the sea. It is what it is. You have to embrace it. You have to embrace it full on, head on, and just attack it because it's a big game, and you have to be willing to play it, and you have to be willing to fail and lose the game to come back and win the game at some point. But every time we fail, it's a learning curve. It's an opportunity to learn, and at some point, everything is just gonna click and starts resonating, and you can resonate with others. You know, people can actually champion you and inspire you, and you inspire them, and then that's energy. So it is what it is. If you have to understand that every single last one of us, every single entrepreneur or business owner that you see that's big on the screen and you see all the time, at some point was in that space or in that mindset that we may be in. You may think, you know, they came out of nowhere and they are big, but these people have been doing it for 25 years before they even got that break.
Right. All right, Wes, we're at 9:30 mark, and so we gotta cut it off there. But I also want to add this last point is when you're going the road alone, this is where relationships are so key and so vital. Having somebody to go down that road with you, your spouse, your significant other, your husband, your wife, your bae, your whoever it is. We're designed as people to go through that together. It says in the Bible that two become one. That's what it's talking about. Find somebody that can go down that road with you. It's less lonely. So we'll finish off with that, Mark. And Wes, we still need to get a relationship corner in that paper of yours, brother. I'm still working on that. I'm still reaching out to you. I do need to connect you with Bree though, and that's been a little while. I want to connect you with her.
I think AI could be a big piece of that. You know, using AI technology as far as, you know, information articles, but let's do something that's more connected with the people as far as, you know, us coming together and really having conversations.
Well,
I know we have to go soon. That's why I was going to add, why don't we do like a one-on-one interview with somebody? So it'll be somebody's story.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
Awesome idea. And we can do a whole series. All right, it's after 9:30. We're gonna finish up with that idea. Let's reconnect at 11 o'clock. I'm gonna send a feeler out. Let's see what we can do. We want to have the end of the quarter meeting and get our plan of action for the next one. But
get everybody on the WhatsApp, I guess chat, and I guess everybody can share the email again.
Slack. We're on the Slack. Let's get on the Slack. And do that. I know I need to get Myrtle on the Slack. I know that, but Kai, we already got you up. But nonetheless, finish up with Georgia Shondoria. I'll reach out to you after the meeting, and we'll go over what membership looks like. Other than that, we wanted to make sure we stay on time and be punctual, because people of color, culture is known for not being on time. So we want to make sure we get on that.
That's when you're black.
Exactly. All right, y'all have a great day. All right.
All right, bro.
Love it.
Have a good day, guys.
Be easy.